Kathy Coldy is going to tell us how to avoid keratoplasty, Descemet stripping only.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank the organizers for the opportunity to talk about this important topic. I have no relevant financial disclosures. I will be discussing a non-FDA approved medication. So we've known for about 6 or 7 years that the endothelium in Fuchs dystrophy has the capacity for self-regeneration. And since about 2016, multiple groups, including ours, have shown that the cornea can clear in Fuchs after deliberate descemetorrhexis. This is actually my index patient, the first one I did Descemet stripping only on. And you can see the edge of the rhexis here, his endothelial cell count, which has been maintained almost 6 years after his Descemet stripping and his anterior segment OCT. So our first series was published in 2016. It was a 4mm Descemet stripping with phacoemulsification. In this study, 10 of 13 eyes cleared, 3 eventually had uneventful DMEC. And one of the things that we showed was that 4 eyes cleared very rapidly within 1 month, which we titled rapid responders. 4 cleared within 3 months, or responders, and then 2 were kind of slow but eventually cleared. Now, since this initial publication, there have been multiple other publications showing us similar results, and these are shown here. You can see here, without being a statistician, that there's something different in the successful series versus the not successful series, and that is the size of the Descemet stripping. You need to have sufficient peripheral reserve to repopulate the central cornea, and since the area is related to the square of the radius, as you go from a 4mm stripped area to a 6mm, you're actually increasing the area by 225%. Now, what are the advantages of Descemet stripping? Obviously, there's no tissue, so there's no risk of rejection. We do know the risks associated with chronic steroid use, including glaucoma, and work from the Price Group has shown that even DMEC, our most anatomical replacement, has a rejection rate of 6% if the steroids are stopped. This is also a time-efficient and cost-effective surgery. So the next advance was the use of Reposidil, and this again is not FDA approved in the United States at the moment. This is a Rho kinase inhibitor approved for glaucoma in Japan. It reduces intraocular pressure by increasing outflow facility, and it's known to have effects on the corneal endothelium, including causing proliferation of human corneal endothelial cells in culture and improving endothelial healing after either a scraping or a cryotherapy model. Now, it was just about this time 3 years ago that our colleague Greg Maloney, who is not here at AAO this year, emailed me very excited that he had 2 Descemet stripping patients who were failing to clear, and he had obtained Reposidil and used it on these patients and rescued them. This is Reposidil shown here. It is not FDA approved in the United States, but patients can order it online, and we can observe them using it. It's shown here on my dining room table. This is data in collaboration with my colleague David Lubeck in Chicago, and we've done a total of 29 eyes of 23 patients, Descemet stripping size of 4mm up to 5 by 6.5 millimeters. 21 patients were able to obtain and use topical Reposidil, and the average follow-up was 15 months. 25 of 29 clears, that's a rate of 86% at an average of 7 weeks, a range of 3 to 20 weeks. The 4 that did not clear had an uneventful EK. Vision was 20/40 or better in 85% of them, and you can see the cell counts are quite good. In my original series, the cell count was approximately 1,000. This is an example of a patient of mine who had a 5mm Descemet stripping in association with phacoemulsification. And you can see that the edge of the Descemet orexis here, she cleared in 3 weeks and postoperatively attained 20/20 vision with a deturgest cornea and an excellent cell count of 1,300. So where are we with Descemet stripping? On Thursday, before the Cornea and Eye Banking Forum, I had seen or read of 83 cases. Yesterday, Dr. Maxey presented her cases and Greg Maloney's cases for another 66 cases. So we're almost up to 150 cases either presented or published. The success rate of the last series is quite good, with somewhere around 6 or 7% of patients not clearing. And you can see here one of my patients as well as the corresponding confocal. Now, case series are great. Anecdotal evidence is great, but really to move the field forward, we need to generate level 1 evidence. So ongoing at the moment is a randomized, placebo-controlled, multi-center, multinational phase 2 trial of Reposidil after DSO. This is sponsored by the manufacturer of Reposidil, COA, and we're going to aim to enroll 60 patients over 20 to 30 sites. There are very strict enrollment criteria, and patients will only be randomized after surgery if the stripping area meets very strict criteria. Our primary endpoint is endothelial cell count at 3 months. There are multiple exploratory endpoints, and we'll follow patients for a year to make sure there are no adverse events. And of course, following this, there'll be a larger phase 3 trial that will eventually lead to registration if successful. So why does Descemet stripping work? We know that the cells are contact inhibited. If we remove the aberrant central cells, it allows healthier cells in the periphery to migrate centrally. There is laboratory evidence suggesting the presence of stem cells in the periphery of the cornea. And a yet unanswered question is, are the cells proliferating or simply spreading? More importantly, why doesn't it work in everyone? Is it physical? Probably yes. We do know that a smooth edge appears to be better than a jagged edge. Is it the severity of the disease? Almost certainly. Is it the ability to remove all guttae? There's laboratory evidence that guttae are toxic. And is it genetic? So in conclusion, Descemet stripping only was successful in 75% in our initial series, and subsequent series have shown a higher success rate. The average clearance is 7 weeks. Reposidil speeds up the process and may turn non-responders into responders. There are many remaining questions. I'd like to invite you all, cornea aficionados, to the upcoming World Cornea Congress in 2020 in Boston next May. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.